Open the Excel file PR Dashboard Data Master 2.0. The menu page will pop up on the screen showing the 4 processes that need to be followed, as well as a log to track changes. If a safety message appears on the top of the screen, please click on the Enable Content button to accept macros. Decisions on configuring the data entry application will be made by the PR with support from any technical assistance provider helping the PR. To configure the data entry application, please click on the Go to Setup button under the configuration box. This page provides a submenu with the 9 steps that need to be carried out to complete the PR configuration. As soon as you start entering data into General Grant Facts, a tick symbol will appear next to the General Grant information. As each subsequent step is completed, a tick symbol will appear to indicate successful completion. If an X appears instead, this indicates that the step has not been completed. All steps should be marked with tick symbols before the data entry application can be used. You need to enter information in all cells that have an orange background color. Data in all other cells is populated automatically. When configuring the application, remember to refrain from cutting and pasting data into the dashboard. Click on General Grant Information. First, select the language and the country from the drop-down menu and enter the grant title and the grant number. Then enter the PR name, the last rating, the phase start and end date, and the component. Continue with the round, and please note that this field cannot be left blank. The round data could be a number, or the designation SSF or TFM, or whichever applies to the particular grant. In this example, we will enter RCC. Then, select the currency, the date of the latest rating, and the current period. Values for the last 2 elements, that is, current period number and latest updated date, are generated automatically. Please note that the numbers for the period in the dashboard may not correspond to the numbers for the periods in the grant's progress update and disbursement requests. Periods are automatically generated in the period dates check as soon as the phase start date is entered. If this field is missing or is incorrect, then the periods shown will also be incorrect. Data in the last update cell comes directly from the activity log on the menu page of the data entry application. Therefore, it is very important to update the activity log each time to ensure that the latest updated data displays on the dashboard. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Go back to the Go to Setup page and click on SR Names to enter the names of all the SRs involved in the grant. Although this section has several columns, only the orange shaded column should be filled in. On the top of the list, 2 rows appear, one with the PR name and one starting with Data SR001. As these 2 rows should not be modified at any point, you should start entering the names from row SR2, which is cell H6. You may enter up to 49 SRs, but please note that each SR name has a 50-character limit. For this example, we will enter the names of 4 SRs. Once the SR names are entered, information for the other columns is generated automatically. Do not make any modifications to these columns. We would advise you to enter all the SR names all at once before you click on the Create New SR Worksheets button. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Once the Create New SR Worksheet is clicked, click on OK in the dialog box that appears which lists all the SRs. Excel will now execute a process that will automatically generate a data entry sheet for each SR added in the previous step. The message will pop up indicating that the sheets have been created for each SR. Click on OK. At this point, you should see each of the names of all of the SRs that were entered appear as individual tabs at the bottom of the Excel file. This process may take a few minutes, depending on the number of SRs. We advise you to enter all the SR names at the same time. In addition, never leave blank cells between the SR names. If you need to add additional SR names after the SR sheet creation process, but before the completion of the 9 configuration steps, type the new SR name in the next available empty cell and click on Create New SR Worksheets. Then click OK and wait for the process to be completed. Ensure that a sheet with the new SR names has been created. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. For financial management indicators in the dashboard, one of the 3 colors will appear: green, yellow, or red, to show performance of the indicator against the desired progress for that period. For any given period, green indicates attainment of desired progress, yellow indicates unsatisfactory progress, and red indicates that the target is not being met. You need to establish thresholds for each financial management indicator for these colors to appear. Click on Financial Thresholds to enter the thresholds for each financial indicator into the orange section of the Excel sheet. The Dispersed column represents cumulative disbursements from the Global Fund to the PR against the cumulative budget. The Expensed represents the cumulative expenditures against the cumulative budget. For this grant, the dashboard will show red if the amount disbursed is less than 100% of the amount that was budgeted for that period, green if it's greater than 115%, and yellow if it is between 100% and 115%. It is strongly recommended to use the same thresholds that are normally used by the Global Fund when making disbursements. See section 3.6 of the user guide. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Click on Step 5 Product Monitoring to enter up to 20 products with their corresponding safety stock amount expressed in months. You will need to fill in only the product and stock safety level months columns that have an orange background color. Safety stock amount is the quantity of a pharmaceutical or health product held to mitigate delays in delivery or a sudden increase in consumption. It should be expressed in months of stock. It is determined by the PR or by the Ministry of Health and can vary from one product to another, and from one country to another. Please note that once all data entry application is configured, the data that will be entered periodically will be the current stock on hand. When the amount of stock on hand entered in the data entry application is sent to the dashboard application, the dashboard compares the amount of this physical stock on hand with the safety stock amount that was entered for the same product during configuration. If the amount of stock on hand is less than or equal to the safety stock amount, an alert will show in the dashboard in red. If the amount of stock on hand is above the safety stock amount but is less than twice the level safety stock amount, the dashboard shows a yellow alert. If the amount of stock on hand is at least twice the level of the safety stock but less than 4 times the safety stock, this is considered to be a desirable result and a green light will appear. When the current amount of stock on hand exceeds 4 times the amount of safety stock, a purple alert shows, indicating overstocking and hence risk of product expiry. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Click on Indicator Mapping to customize and allocate indicators at the PR and SR levels through a series of steps. As soon as this is completed, you will be able to generate data entry sheets for each SR. The indicator mapping sheet has 3 columns with predefined data. The first column, Object ID, is used to help identify each indicator. The codes highlighted in green represent targets, while those in white represent actuals. Please be aware that this column is protected and cannot be modified. Next, column B, Indicator, lists all indicators that can be used in the dashboard. This list is predefined. Column C identifies each indicator by type, be it either finance, management, PSM, or programmatic. Additional SR columns in this section are generated automatically when the PR selects SR names. One for the PR and one for each of the SRs that have been added in the SR names section of the PR setup sheet. You will notice that the SR1 data column appears as well. Please note that data will never be entered into this column. To enable each indicator for the PR and each SR except SR1, Choose the tick symbol under the column for each SR when that SR's activities contribute to the respective indicator, and choose X if the SR's activities do not contribute to the indicator. This process is valid for all indicators, whether financial, management, PSM, or programmatic. First, you will need to select the financial indicators. You can refer to the definitions for budget, disbursements, and expenditure for the PR and SRs in section 3.8.2 of the User's Guide. For this grant, we will check budget, disbursements, and expenditure for both the PR and SRs because both the PR and all SRs are responsible for collecting and reporting data related to these elements. Please note that for these three indicators, once the tick symbol is selected for the PR and for one SR, the tick symbol option will be automatically selected for all SRs, as all SRs will receive funds for the PR and therefore would be required to report on these financial indicators. With regards to financial reports planned and financial reports overdue, we will mark them both with a tick because they represent values for which data are entered for SRs and PRs. As for audit actions fulfilled, outstanding audit actions within performance period, and outstanding audit actions past performance period, we will check only the PR column because in this example, this information resides solely with the PR. We recommend that you review Annex 5 of the User Guide for more detailed definitions of these indicators. For the management indicators, for this example, most of them are under the PR's responsibility. In some cases, however, data for the SRs may be relevant, such as where key positions for the grant reside in SR organizations. We recommend that you review Annex 3 of the User Guide to learn more about general management indicators. In addition, Annex 5 will help you to understand the data definitions for each indicator and which indicators apply to either PR or SRs or both. The same logic applies for the PSM indicators. If an SR conducts the procurement of any of the products listed in this section, the corresponding cells should be ticked under the specific SR column. The last group of indicators to be configured is the programmatic indicators. Please note that the Global Fund insists that PRs use standard indicators per component that come from Global Fund's latest list of standard indicators. A number of the standard programmatic indicators are reported at rates or as percentages. In case you need to modify or replace a standard programmatic indicator, please check section 3.8.6 of the User Guide. The dashboard allows visualization of up to 15 indicators for each grant. For this reason, you will need to prioritize and select up to 15 indicators that you wish to see in the dashboard during this step. Using the results of the indicator selection workshop, you must select the rank order for the top indicators. Find the most important indicator and select one from the drop-down menu in the PR column. Then this indicator will appear at the top of the list. The least important indicator will appear at the bottom of the list. Next, tick each indicator to which each SR contributes. This should be done very carefully, cell by cell. In this example, we will prioritize 10 indicators. Please note that you will still be able to see indicators for other disease components, although they appear in a different color. However, you should leave these sections as they are, with the X default selected. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Once selection and prioritization of programmatic indicators is completed, click on the button Refresh Top 15 that is located at the top of the sheet. Pressing this button will update the indicator sheet. Once the updating of the top 10 indicators is completed, the data entry application will populate the PR setup sheet with the programmatic indicators selected by rank order from 1 to 10. Alternatively, you can click Step 7, Refresh Prog Indicators List, which serves the same functionality as Refresh Top 15. Once this ordering process is completed, return to the indicator mapping sheet and click on the Refresh Activation button at the top of the page to define data entry sheets for each of the SRs. As soon as a pop-up message appears, please click on OK. The process will take you to each SR worksheet as well as the PR worksheet. Click OK on all the similar pop-up windows that appear, asking to hide or unhide rows based on current mapping. If you wish to accelerate this process, you may click on Cancel to skip the activation process for this worksheet. This should be done only when you are 100% sure that there are not any further changes required to this SR worksheet. In the future, if you need to modify the indicators or their order, click on the Refresh Prog Indicators list button as soon as you finish the changes. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Click on Step 8, Programmatic Thresholds, to enter performance thresholds for the programmatic indicators, just as with the financial indicators. Results for these indicators are displayed using the three colors, red, yellow, and green. Each programmatic indicator may have different thresholds, and the PR is responsible for determining these thresholds. It is strongly recommended to use the standard thresholds that the Global Fund publishes. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of the page to save your changes. Click on Step 9 Period Dates Check to verify reporting periods that were automatically generated by the application. It is important to ensure that all collected data suit the predefined periods. If the start date is incorrect or missing, the periods will be incorrect. Once you verify that the period dates are accurate, configuration of the data entry application is complete. In some cases, you may need to eliminate one or several SRs. In order to do that, click on the menu sheet and click on the button Remove SR Worksheet. A dialog box will appear with the list of all created SRs. Select the SR worksheet that you would like to eliminate, click Yes on the confirmation message, and the selected worksheet will be removed. If you wish to remove all the created SR worksheets, click on the button Remove all the created SR worksheets and select Yes to confirm your selection in the pop-up box that will appear. Click on Save on the top left-hand side of your page to save your changes. We have now completed all the configuration steps. Once the configuration process is complete and all items in the PR Setup menu appear with green check marks, you can then continue with the step Create Data Input Form in the menu sheet. Click on the drop-down menu and select the worksheet that you would like to export from the list of PR and SR worksheets. Click OK to confirm your selection, and the data entry sheet that you have selected will appear. The file is automatically saved in the same folder as the data entry application. You will now be able to send each of the SR worksheets to the SRs for completion. Prior to sending any SR data entry sheets to be completed, the PR should train its SRs on how to complete the data entry sheets correctly. Before entering data into the data entry sheet, SRs should first check the indicators on the sheet to ensure that only the indicators the SR is required to report on appear. If the list is incorrect, the SRs should let the PR know so that they receive an updated sheet. If the PR starts using the dashboard after the grant is well underway, the SR will need to complete the historical data on its performance from previous reporting periods. Each time the SR prepares the SR data entry sheet to send to the PR, the SR should fill in only the column for that reporting period. Data for compliance indicators that track SR compliance with reporting obligations to the PR should not be entered by the SR. They should be left blank and filled in after by the PR. At this point, please avoid copying and pasting data into the data entry sheet. Once all updated data entry sheets submitted by SRs are received, the PR should first conduct a data quality check of the data submitted by the SR. Once the data quality check is complete, you need to upload the files to the data entry application. Open the Excel data entry application, click on the Menu tab, and click on the Load SR Data from File button. In the pop-up window that appears, select the SR worksheet that you wish to upload and click Open. As soon as the message Data Import Complete appears, click OK and repeat this task until you have uploaded all the SR worksheets into the data entry application. Once all SR data entry sheets are uploaded into the application and you have filled in the PR worksheet, you are ready to export the data in order to generate the PR dashboard. Click on Export Master Data on the Menu tab to generate the Excel worksheet that will feed into the dashboard application. In the pop-up window, select the destination folder that contains the XLS file and locate the file Dashboard Feed 2.0 R1. Click on Open. A message will appear asking if you want to save changes. Click on Save and wait until the message Data Export Complete appears. Click OK. The dashboard feed file is now updated with the latest updates. You will be able to use it now as a feed file for the SAP Dashboard Design application. Remember, every time you make changes, you should update the log section of the tool with the name of the person making the changes and the kind of changes made. In addition, you should not rename the file. If you have any questions, please email gfsupport@theglobalfund.org.